some people in here are sick. How's everybody doing this morning? It's a pleasure to talk with you. I know Chris is at least 3 or 4 videos behind, so I don't know when you're going to get this. Some of you got some real important questions, and I've always said, if something's really a stat or emergency need, you call in here and ask them directly, because we don't want you to stay in trouble if you're in trouble, and sometimes detox can present its troubles. Several people, of course, has ended up in the ER with detoxification symptoms, healing crisis symptoms. Sometimes it's unavoidable, especially with chronic COPDs and things like this, or you got lung cancer and the lungs are filling over the fluid. You've got to get the lungs aspirated. I mean, there's a whole host of problems that you could go to the ER for. And really, the emergency room should help support us and support our people while we're working them back into a state of health. So, unfortunately, they don't always understand what's going on, and it's too bad because, when you have some advanced cases, we need help, because these problems are so deep nowadays. It's unbelievable. But I want to kind of try and catch up here, and I want to go on with your questions and answers here and try to get all caught up this week. I've got this batch, and then I think I'm pretty well good here. But so let's go through them, and again, thank you, and hope you all are having a happy day this morning. Kind of early, though. This one, this is from, I think it's Linda Raven. That's the sidebar. I felt completely overwhelmed. There's just too much going wrong at all at one time. I feel like I am lost in the ocean, and everything I start to get to the shore, a big wave pushes me back. I just can't seem to get anywhere. I have managed to get the uric acid levels down some. Well, honey, you have to stop and relax and realize that you're not your body. Get yourself in a place that you're happy with. Get yourself into that home, into you. It's beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the emotion part of yourself. That's where practicing observation and observing life as it's going on without thought, practicing be here now, be here now, be here now, practice that. Always say to yourself, be here now, and work yourself into this state of self. In that state is total security, total serenity, bliss, ecstasy, you can nirvana, whatever you wish, and it has its levels. But that's where you are connected to the all. And thought, it takes you out of that present moment and puts you in a process. Lion Man was describing that in his last communique, the process of creation. You're not involved in that other than you put your attention through these bodies and light up these bodies you use to make creation happen for you. So find that happy place and keep working. Get strong. Don't let your body control you. You get strong. Muscle up that energy and power within yourself, and make your body follow that. Yeah, there's some ups and downs, but hang in, because you will survive and overcome this. There is no death in terms of you. So lose that and just get that body back into a state of health. Your uric acid levels are coming down, honey. So keep working that, keep working it, keep working it. Pretty soon the shore gets closer, and pretty soon you're standing up walking on it. And it won't be long, okay, hon? I have followed you from the beginning of your thank you. This is Paul. What do I think of Gabriel Cousins? Well, I think the man doesn't have any experience with a deeper detoxification and tissue regeneration. If he did, he wouldn't be talking like he is. So this is just people without experience with these levels. And you can't judge a few of the many. Some people, the difficulty with fruits, and I want you to realize, because one question was, how am I going to deal with fruits way up in Canada and stuff? Well, you know what, guys, you don't have to. Remember, when you're in northern climates, you're in hostile environments to the Homo sapien species. We're a tropical fruitarian species. I mean, you're seeing more of that being brought out now by National Geographic. Different scientific minds are coming together, realizing the human being is a frugivorous species and a tropical species. So when you're living in some of these colder climates, you might have to do some cooked vegetables or steamed vegetables. You use herbal teas to warm you up. Those that have very serious problems that must stay raw and stay high fruit, then you got to use herbal teas to warm yourself up and wrap up good. That's why I don't do north. I just don't do north anymore. I was raised in it, and I just don't do north anymore. But Gabriel Cousins, you know, everybody's well intended, but I just can't stand this misinformation that Gabriel and Brian at the Hippocrates puts out when it comes to fruits. These guys are not, don't have 40 years like I do in the field, and they just don't have the awareness. They're not involved at this level of work. Fruits are very powerful, and more so than people realize. They always blame the sugar in a fruit. The problem is that the fruit sugar is a simple sugar, very active, but fruit is a very active, powerful, magnetically alive food that has astringents. And astringents and the power of the food and the flavonoids and all the constituents of fruits and berries create a cleansing. They're self-cleansing. Someone asked me about the teeth and how you clean your teeth. Fruits clean your teeth. Fruits clean you. They're astringent rich. If you have weak enamel and weak teeth, yeah, you can feel those things. There's no question about it. But we tend to discard the whole concept of fruit eating, and I'm just flabbergasted that we have practitioners like Gabriel Cousins that says ridiculous things like this. So he can keep using all he wants. I can tell you, you're going to be the next practitioners, the next world practitioners, and they're going to leave people like Gabriel Cousins, and they're going to come to you, because these people don't cure at the level. I've had plenty of his clients. I've had plenty of Hippocratean clients, and it's just clean the blood. Oh, that's nice. How about the tumors and all the other stuff in people? Don't see that. I have a long list of people that come from these places, and it's just you're going to plateau, and a lot of you've already seen this where you plateau with the vegetables. But if you look at vegetables, there is no way you can say it's a Homo sapien food. We're not a herbivorous species. We're not vegetarians. Okay, we eat it. I'm game. I'm good. Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't really care. You know, I eat my salads. But if you're going to argue the point, then you have to argue the fact that we're not designed at all like herbivores. We don't have 4 stomachs. We don't have a GI tract even close to that, 30 times the length of our spine. And we certainly don't have the grinding teeth it takes to break down the cellulose. So there's so many other factors. That reminds me of someone that made a comment here about organic meats. He ate organic meats, and we have for 250,000 years, and, you know, I don't care. I really don't care. How interesting is it, though, that when you're trying to get healthy, if you get off of them, you get healthy. But it doesn't matter to me. What is in the past can no longer be. If you look at man now, if you just stopped and looked at man now, and you realize that man is a product of 250,000 years of eating meat and dairy foods and everything else, you have to understand that we're in serious, serious trouble as a race. If you deny that, then you're blind. And you just don't understand, and you're not looking at the picture of what's going on with the children and with the people and how much cancer's out there, how much cell mutation and the level of the decay and decline of the cell, of the human cell, beyond conceptions. I mean, it's going to be a lot of generations to rewind these genetics at these levels, and medical doctors are way out of their league. And those people that don't understand creation and understand genetics, they just have no clue to what's going on. It's obvious. There's little understanding of the neurological system in the allopathic community. No understanding of neurotoxins. Very little understanding of any of the genetics and how that plays a role in cell morphology and this whole 9 yards. And the chemistry and the magnetics involved in nutrition and foods and in cells. I mean, this is the core of everything of health and of vitality. And they don't understand any of it. So how can you be an effective practitioner when you don't understand any of this. And that's amazing to me. You guys understand it. It's easy. So I applaud you all for your growth and you hanging in there. Some of you are tough. I heard Kelly was in the hospital. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't heard, so who knows. I mean, it can land you there, or you can land yourself. You know, who knows what the scoop is there. C. Collins, let me see here. I want to say that I'm kind of going through a mental and emotional crisis at the moment. I am also very much into spirituality and spend almost every moment of my life searching for truth. Well, I will say this, my friend. Just relax and let truth be, because when you're in a state of nowness, in a state of beingness, where you're living in the present moment, everything is truth. When you perceive it, the perception is so much broadened. You know, the only way you increase your ability to see truth is to leave the conditioned state, to leave the process and become that which is, become the creator as opposed to the creation. You know, and that's the key to understanding truth. Creation is just a playground. It's that simple. So there is spiritual growth, guys, and you're all going to involved in it. There is spiritual growth. When you're with a master, there are things called initiations or baptisms. You can call them whatever, and you can research that down through time. But there's always been a time where you're picked up, you're initiated or baptized, or there was this 13-year-old boy that could give the light to people, you know. But you're lifted up at different intervals of your life, and you're lifted up to another level. So there's a process and there's stages that you go through, like first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and you graduate. And it's an awakening graduation where you're going through emotional things at first. First it's physical, and then it's follow your bodies, and you'll follow the type of experiences you're going to go through. A lot of physical turmoils and things. The emotional is the astral levels. You rip your emotions, you get confused. When you get into the mental levels, the confusion of you and the mind, and then of course the highest level that you fight to get rid of so you can enjoy the ecstasy of the Supreme Being is your ego. And that'll rip you pretty good. If you're not willing to let your ego go, you can get ripped pretty bad. You can lose everything and pretty much be hanging out there on a wire. But if you want to know God, you got to let it all go. If you don't and you want to play in the toy land, go ahead. But if you want to know what the ultimate right is and have that ultimate experience, you have to join that experience. You become that experience. And only you can do it. The mind can't go there. The mind cannot enter the allness of all. The emotions cannot enter into it. The physical body cannot enter into it. They're stuck at their levels. Only you. So find that core, and you'll get some stability no matter what the body goes through. I have reached the point where I no longer am able to function in society as a normal person. It is nearly impossible to hold down a regular job, and I feel very weird, etc., etc. Feels like getting into a cabin. His name's Chris. He feels like going into a cabin in the woods. No kidding. I wonder why that sounds familiar. Shania Twain used to work growing up and way back in the woods in Timmins, and most of you in Canada know that, of course. But you know, would spend months in these little cabins by herself. And when I was in Switzerland with her, she had a nice little cabin on the side of the hill, and then their big mansion on the top. And I knew her heart then